already. Okay, hello. Okay, so now you come to see it here. Today we'll do revision for the Form 5 Chapter 1. So inside the Chapter 1 got 3 important topics that you are compulsory to know. For the first one is about the organization of the plant tissue. The second one is about the process. And then for the last one is about the growth curve. Okay, so before we start the class, I want to ask, is it you all still remember or not? Like what is the thing inside Chapter 1? Or maybe in Chapter 1 you got any problem? You got any question or not about Chapter 1 for the plant tissue? No, okay, yeah, that's very good. Yeah, so if you all okay, then we can directly start our class today. So first, okay, today the most important we'll do for revision, okay, prepare for our first term exam. Okay, so later we try do revision for all the thing inside the chapter 1, and also we try for the exercise. If you got any part that you don't understand, you just let me know. Okay, yeah, so for the first thing, come to see it here for the page 2, organization of the plant tissue. Yeah, so for the first thing, plant tissue we can differentiate into 2 types. For the first one is for the meristematic tissue, and then for the second one is for the lateral tissue. Okay, now I believe that you two still remember. Okay, if for the meristematic tissue, this one we have an apical meristematic tissue. Apical, that means is for increase the length of the plant. This one is for increase the length of the plant. Okay, and then if for the lateral meristematic tissue, this one is help to increase the diameter of the plant. Okay, this means for the thickness. Okay, the diameter. So actually these two processes are same, both involved in the growing process. Okay, both also help to increase the size of the plant cell, but one is for the length, one is for the diameter. Okay, so now you come to see it here. Meristematic tissue, okay, you can help me to write down. What is a characteristic for the meristematic tissue that does not undergo for the differentiation one? That's mean for the meristematic tissue that does not have a specific structure, that does not have a specific function. This is for the meristematic. Okay, so all the cell at here we consider as a young cell. Okay, they all look similar, they all look identical. This one is for the meristematic. Okay, later we'll learn the another one, which is the permanent tissue. Permanent tissue, that means that after the differentiation already. Okay, so later you will learn inside the permanent tissue all have their specific structure and the specific function. So that's why inside the permanent tissue, you all have a few examples that you compulsory need to know. Here is like quite a lot of the name and also for the diagram that you need to recognize that. Okay, but actually it's quite easier for you all because you start from Form 1 until now. Actually, you just learn the same thing, okay, about the plant. Okay, so this is for the permanent. Okay, so you can help me to know the differences between the meristematic tissue and also for the permanent tissue. Okay, so now I come to see for the apical meristematic tissue. This one you can find in 2 places. Okay, 2 locations. For the first one is for the root, and then for the second one is for the shoot. So for the root, that means for the root tip. Shoot, that means for the shoot tip. Because for these 2 positions, they will help to increase the number of cells that will help to grow, okay, increase the length. So this one is for the apical, for the root tip and the shoot tip. Okay, so we do a small revision at here. Later we'll learn about the process. Okay, I believe that you still remember. For the apical meristematic tissue, they're involved in the primary growth. Yeah, so what is the meaning for the primary growth? Primary growth, that means for these 3 growth zone. So inside the root tip and the shoot tip, you all have these 3 growth zone one. For the first one is the zone of cell division. Second, you will go to the zone of cell elongation. And then for the last one, you go to the cell differentiation. But for the root and the shoot are opposite. Because for the root, they will become longer and longer, go deeply to the soil. Yeah, so this one for the cell division is start at the bottom part. But for the shoot tip, this one will grow higher. So it will become higher and higher. So for this one, the cell division or the mitosis process occur at the top part. So that's why you can see this one is for the cell division. And then it will go to the elongation, and then it will go to the cell differentiation. Yeah, so for one is like go down, one is go up. Okay, yeah, so this one is opposite. So this one later we'll learn now, okay, but now you come to know first. For the apical is involved in the primary growth. Okay, and then for next one, for the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is how to increase the diameter. That means for the thickness of the plant. So for this one is involved in the secondary growth. So this is for the secondary. Okay, so you come to see it here. Lateral meristem we can find in 2 places. For the first one is a vascular cambium, and then for the second one is for the cord cambium. Vascular cambium is at here. Xylem and the phloem we name it as a vascular bundle, vascular tissue, right? So between the xylem and the phloem, you can see for the red color, the red ring, this one is for the vascular cambium. So for the vascular cambium, it can help to produce a secondary xylem and a secondary phloem. So this is the function. Okay. And then for the second one is for the cork cambium. Cork cambium actually just at the external layer. And this one is for the cork cambium. Okay. They will form the new protective layer. So this is for the cork. Okay, can? Yeah, like this. So this is the first page for the meristematic tissue. So at here, the most important thing is just help me to know their name, their function, and also for the location. So for the apical, you can found in the shoot tip and root tip, and this one is help to increase the length. And then for the lateral, you can found in the vascular and the cork. This one is to increase the diameter. Okay, yeah, so for this part, it's very easy. So for next one, we go to the permanent tissue. Permanent tissue got two characteristics. First, mature tissue and undergone the cell differentiation. So just now I say already, for this type of the tissue, they all have a specific structure and a specific function. And inside the permanent tissue, we have three groups. So the first one, epidermal tissue. Second, vascular tissue. And then the last one is a ground tissue. So you can able to see the example inside one by one. Okay. So for example, like the epidermal. Epidermal inside we got the cuticle. Okay. I want to ask you all, what is the characteristic for the cuticle? You still remember the characteristic? Yeah, yes, very good. Yeah, waxy layer, or you want to write for the waterproof also can. So that's why for the cuticle, they can prevent the water loss through the transpiration. So it can protect the plant from dehydration. Yeah, so this one is for the cuticle. Okay. And then for the next one, root hair cell. Yeah, I believe that you all know. Root hair cell, that means the root hair is found on the surface of the root. So this one is a long projection. The long projection can help to increase the surface area for the water absorption. So this is for the root hair. So it can increase the rate of water absorption. Okay, so this is for the adaptation. So this one you all can know. And then for the last one is for the gut cell. Gut cell is found at the lower epidermis of leaf. So what is the function for the gut cell? It can control the opening and closing of the stoma. Because you can see at the center of the gut cell at the middle, okay? And this one is for the stoma. So you can see for the stoma open and close at there. Okay, yeah, for this one. Epidermal, that means is at the surface, okay, on the surface of the leaf or maybe for the root, and this one is for the epidermal, okay? So you can see for the cuticle is on the surface of the leaf, root hair is on the surface of the root, and then for the gut cell also at the lower epidermis of the leaf. Okay, yeah, like this. So this one is for the epidermal. And then for the next one, we just go to the vascular tissue. Vascular tissue, that means is for the transport one, xylem and the phloem. So for these two, you must know for their adaptation. What is the adaptation for the xylem and the phloem? What is the special characteristic at there? Okay, so you can come to see. For the xylem, they can help to transport the water and the mineral salt. But for the phloem, they can transport the organic substance. Okay, you all can let me know or not. What is the example for the organic substance? Like what is the substance that you can found inside the plant, inside the phloem? It's like after photosynthesis already, and then what is a product that will form? Okay, yes, very good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so for the first one, you can to write out like the glucose, or maybe for the sucrose, or maybe the amino acid. Yeah, so you can see for the carbohydrate and also for the protein. Okay, yeah, so this is an example for the organic substance. But normally for the starch, we will say like store as starch. So normally for the starch, we just add as a food storage. Normally for transport, you can just help me to write out for these three examples. Okay, and then for the adaptation for the xylem, you can see on the diagram, it is a hollow tube. Okay, so you can see at the middle, they doesn't have any blockage at here. So this one is for the xylem, okay? So you can have to highlight, consists of the xylem vessel that are elongated and a hollow tube, so they can connect to each other. You can ensure the continuous flow of the water. Yeah, so this is the first one. For the second one, the wall of the xylem are thickened by lignin. Because the water have pressure, if you transport more water, you have more pressure inside. So you want to protect the xylem. Understand? And also for the lignin, it can provide the mechanical strength for the plant. Yeah, so it can support the plant. Okay, yeah, for this. And then for the phloem, it consists of the companion cell. Okay, I want to test you all. You still remember or not? What is the type of process occur in the phloem? Diffusion process. What is the type of diffusion process? It will occur for the simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, or osmosis, or active transport. Which one? You still remember? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, very good. Yeah, so you can to write that here. Inside the flow one compulsory have an active transport. So for the active transport, they need a lot of the energy because for this one, it will transport from low concentration to high concentration. So this one is for the active transport. Active transport, you need a lot of the energy. Energy come from where? Companion cell. Because the companion cell inside got a lot of the mitochondria. They have abundance of the mitochondria. So they can produce a lot of the energy. Yeah, so this one is for the adaptation. Okay, and also what is the difference between the xylem and the phloem? You based on the diagram, it's very clear. Xylem are the hollow tube, but for the phloem, you can see at the middle of the tube, they have a sieve plate. So you can have to label it here. This one is for the sieve plate. And the cylinder one, this one we name it as a sieve tube. Yeah. So it's very obvious for their differences. So this is for the vascular tissue. And then for the third one, it's for the ground tissue. Inside the ground tissue, most of the tissue that can they can support the plant. Okay, they want to provide the mechanical strength to the plant. So yeah, this one is a ground tissue responsibility. Okay, so you can to see the example at here. The difference between these three ground tissue is for the thickness. And a lot of the students that cannot identify for the parenchyma and the collenchyma. Scaran compulsory easy lah because for the scarenchyma, this one have a thicker cell wall. You can see the thicker cell wall at here. Okay. Yeah, so for this one, it can provide the mechanical strength to the plant and especially for the woody plant. Okay, the strongest one, the hardest one, okay, they need a lot of the power and then only you can support the plant. This one is for the scarenchyma, okay, because they have a thicker cell wall. This one is taken by the lignin. Yeah, so the lignin is very strong, okay. But what is the difference between the parent and the colon? Normally, how can you identify based on the diagram? For example, you can see parenchyma have a thinner cell wall. So when you see just like the normal plant cell have a very, very thin cell wall and the shape is like the circular shape like this. And then this one is for the parenchyma tissue. Because normally for the collenchyma tissue, you can see it got the double layer at here one. Because this one is like quite thick compared to the parent, they are thicker than the parenchyma. So for this one, for the cell wall is like thicker. So you can see like the double layer. And also for the collenchyma, the shape are uneven. You can see for the thickness are uneven one. Some part is like very thick, but some part is like very thin. Okay, so it's like uneven. And also you can see at the corner for this part is like very thick. For the corner part is the thickest one. This one is for the collenchyma. And you can see for the shape. Normally for the collenchyma, it's just like the hexagon. You see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's just like the hexagon diagram, right? But for the parenchyma, it's just like the circle or spherical like this. Yeah, so actually for these two, it's very obvious. Okay, this is the first method. How can you identify for the parenchyma and the collenchyma? This is the first one, based on the diagram. Second, based on the question. Okay, sometimes actually for the question, they will give you the hints one. Okay, example, you can to see it here. I show you the example. Okay, like this now. Okay, maybe it will ask you to name the tissue P and the tissue Q. So maybe you say, teacher, I don't know the tissue P is suppose is a cuticle or it is a epidermis because cuticle is the outermost layer, right? Epidermis also is a external layer. So this one is suppose is a cuticle or epidermis. So you can based on the diagram. This is the first method. If you cannot based on the diagram, second, you see the question below. Because normally for one question, they have A, B, C, D, E. Sometimes the question below, they will give you the hints. For example, maybe they will ask you like this one. Okay, yum, yum, yum. They will ask you like this, Maybe they will say like what is the difference of the structure P in the stem and the root? So actually this one is a hint, okay? Because it show you already, this one is a root. If for the root, that does not have a cuticle one. For the root, they only have the epidermis. For root cannot have cuticle because the cuticle are waterproof layer, they are the waxy layer that will block the water movement. But the root function is absorb water. Then impossible for the root that have a cuticle. So for the P compulsory is the epidermis. Yeah, so this is a difference between the root and the stem. Because for the stem they can have cuticle, they have a cuticle layer at there. Because they want to prevent the directly exposure from sunlight, so it can cause a dehydration inside the plant, right? So they have a cuticle will protect the plant one. Okay, yeah, so sometimes you see the question below, they will give you the hint. Okay, yeah, like this. So this is the way how you all can identify for the parenchyma and the collenchyma lah. Okay, for this one. So for the next, you come to see. So what is the function for the parenchyma tissue? Parenchyma, this one also can support the plant, but normally they just support for the herbaceous plant. That means for the non-woody plant. So it's like quite soft. Okay, they don't need like so many power, no need so many strength. Okay, so actually for the parenchyma, they have another important function. Example, they have a large vacuole inside. So you can see the diagram. They have a lot of large vacuole. Okay, so the large vacuole function is store the product of the photosynthesis. Example like the sugar, starch. Okay, so this is for the parenchyma cell. Okay, and then for the collenchyma tissue, this one is like thicker than the parent. So for this one, you can see the keyword unevenly thickened by the pectin and the hemicellulose. So for this one, they can provide the mechanical support and the elasticity to the plant. Yeah, like this. So this one is for the colon. So for the strongest one is the sclerenchyma. For the weakest one is for the parent. So for the parenchyma, they have another function which is store the product of the photosynthesis. And the collenchyma is at the middle. Okay, yeah, like this. So this is an example for the prominent tissue. If you all got any question, just let me know. Okay, and then for the next one, you come to see. Okay, for the page 4, you come to see it here. This one, the most important thing is you all need to know for the position of xylem and phloem. Well, this one, it will show you for all every part of the plant, where is the xylem and where is the phloem. So this is for the position. And the most important thing is you need to know for the differences. Yeah, normally for the differences it's at 2 mark to 4 mark lah. Okay, so at least at 2 to 4 points to know. Okay, the most important one is for the stem and the root, because later you all will learn. Actually, for the leaf part, similar. The xylem and the phloem both at the same position. For example, at the leaf part, you add the eudicotyledon. What is the meaning for the eudicotyledon? That means for the woody plant. Okay, the leaf in the woody plant, the xylem at the upper part, the phloem also at the upper part. Okay, but when you go to the monocotyledon also the same one. You can see for the cell at the center, the tissue at the center, the upper is the xylem, and then for the lower is the phloem. Yeah, so actually for the leaf are exactly same. Okay, yeah, for this one. But got a few things that you need to know lah. Xylem and the phloem, the middle, the ring, okay, the line, we name it as a cambium. Yeah, so for this whole group, we name it as a vascular bundle. Yeah, so for the vascular bundle is a group name. Okay, so this is a thing that we need to know. Okay, for this one. Yeah, that's all. But the most important is for the stem and the root, because you can see, based on the diagram, you can see the difference already. The stem in the eudicotyledon is arranged in the ring form, but the stem in the monocotyledon, you can see like all the xylem and the phloem that are scattered throughout the stem. Yeah, so these are differences. Okay, so you come to see it here. Xylem is found toward the inside of the stem. That means for the xylem, it stays inside, but the phloem is outside. This one is very easy. I explained to you already before. Phloem is for the P, right? P, that means protect. So they want to protect the cell, they want to protect the xylem, so the P compulsory stand outside. So the phloem is stay outside one. And the xylem is inside. Okay, and this one also the same. We name it as a vascular bundle. Okay, so vascular bundle you only can find in the stem and also for the leaf, only at these two places. If for the root, we name it as a vascular cylinder. So you need to be careful in the exam. Okay, if they label in the root, this one is for the cylinder. Okay, can? Then you come to see it here. At the center of the stem, we name it as pith. Okay, I want to test you all. What is the function of pith? Why the stem need pith? Pith for what? To store the organic substance. It will help to store all the nutrient at there. Okay, so this is a function for the pith. Like this. So this is the thing that you need to know. Okay, and then for the root, this one is very easy, because for the root function is help to absorb water. So compulsory for water is very important for the root. So inside the root, which part will help to transport water? Compulsory is the xylem. So that's why you can see for the xylem, it occupy a large area at here. This one is for the xylem. And then for the surrounding, all are the phloem. Okay, for this one. So you come to label xylem and the phloem. So at here for the xylem, it's a star shape. And then phloem, it just fill up the area between the xylem. Like this only. So this one is for the root. Okay, then you come to see for the monocotyledon. Yeah, monocotyledon, you can see for the stem, all the vascular bundle, they just scatter throughout the stem. Yeah, like this. But actually for the arrangement are quite similar. Xylem also inside, and then for the phloem outside. And this one are same. They just like scattered. Okay. But for the root, it's like totally different. You can see in the root, they are arranged in the ring form. It's a circular shape. It's a circle. Okay. Because the xylem tissue alternate with the phloem tissue in the form of a ring. Yeah, like this. So this is for the position of xylem and the phloem. Okay, can? So now you all come to see it here for the question. Okay, we start from the question one, and if you all know the answer, you can just write down in the chat room and let me know. Okay, so for the first one, diagram one show a cross section of U dicot root. Name the structure label PQR. So what is the P? What is the Q? And what is the R? Tissue. Name the structure, name the tissue inside. Yeah, yes, very good. For the P is for the epidermis. And then for the Q, yeah, for the Q, you can write for the cortex. And then for the R, you can write for the vascular bundle. Okay? Or you want to write for the vascular tissue also can. Yeah, for this. But if today for the question asks you to write out for the tissue, then actually for the cortex is for the ground tissue. Yeah, this one I believe that you all know, okay, because for the cortex it can support for the plant, right? Okay. And then for the epidermis, this one we name it as an epidermal tissue. Yeah, so sometime in this chapter, they will ask you to name the type of tissue. Type of tissue, then you can only write for the tissue name. Okay. Next, structure R consists of two types of the tissue, namely X and Y involved in the transport. Name the two tissue. Yeah, so I believe that you all know for this. So what is the X and what is the Y? The X is a star shape at the middle one. Yes, very good. So for the X is a xylem, and then for the Y is a phloem. Well done. State the function. Yeah, so for the X, transport water. Better that you all help me write like full sentence. Like a lot of students, they will write transport water only. Okay. Better you write for the full one. Transport water and dissolve mineral salt. Okay. From root to leaf. But for the Y, this one it will transport organic substance from leaf to root. Yeah, like this. Okay? Any part you all don't understand, let me know. State one difference between the tissue X and the tissue Y. Yeah, so for the different, this one is very easy. Like any different also can. You want to explain about the structure, okay, or yeah, explain for the characteristic. So actually, you also can explain about the function because one transport water, one transport organic substance. But for this question, don't want because like just now the last question we done is for the function already. So better that you don't write the same answer lah. Okay, yeah, for this. So this one for differences, you can write the other one. So xylem and phloem is still got other function. Yes, very good. You can write like one, like the X is taken by the lignin, but for the Y does not taken by the lignin, right? Okay. Yeah, yes, very good. This one can. Also, you can write for the X is dead cell. Xylem is a dead cell, because for the xylem that does not have a cytoplasm, but phloem have a cytoplasm. So for the phloem is a living cell. Okay, can? Yeah, like this. Next, the outermost layer of the stem leaf are covered by a waxy and a waterproof coating substance. So for the waxy, so this one we name it as a cuticle. So you can to write down for the cuticle. Give one reason why the plant need the substance to prevent water loss through transpiration or evaporation also can. Yeah, these two are the same thing. Okay, done already, let me know. Then we go to the next question. Next page. Okay, can. For others, done already? Okay, next. Explain one difference between the epidermis of the stem and the root. Yeah, so for one difference. Yeah, so actually just now I let you all know already what is the difference between the stem and the root. For the stem that consists of the cuticle layer, but for the root that does not have a cuticle layer one. Okay, because for the root they need to absorb water, so they cannot have a waterproof layer. Okay, so you can to write that here lah. Of from the soil. Yeah, like this. Okay. Next, draw a simple label diagram to show the main tissue in the cross section of a leaf. Yeah, so for the leaf one, xylem and the phloem, the main tissue. Okay. So you can see, just now we learned already. If for the leaf, for the U dicot, it's just like the UFO, you have a wing at there. Okay. So you just help me to draw the diagram of the leaf. Oh, sorry. Okay. You can separate, and also you can shade it. Okay, so one black, one white. So you can show the xylem and the phloem, xylem and the phloem. So this one is for the leaf. So for the leaf, the xylem at the upper part, and then for the phloem at the lower part. Okay, yeah, like this. Xylem, phloem, and this for the epidermis. Yeah, like this. Next. Done already, let me know. Brian can? Okay, yeah, so for the next one, you all came to see. In an experiment, the cross section are obtained from the root, stem, and the leaf of a dicotyledonous plant, which has been immersed in the red eosin solution for 2 hours. Indicate the tissue stained red by the eosin solution. Yeah, so stained red, that means the eosin solution will pass through the tissue. So which tissue will stain red? Yeah, yes, very good. Supple is for the xylem one, okay? So you can come to label it here. So for the leaf, upper part is the xylem. For the stem, yeah, the inner layer is for the xylem. For the root, the star shape is the xylem. Yeah, so you can come to label like all the xylem a day. Okay? And then for the next one, state the differences between the arrangement of the vascular bundle in the stem and the vascular tissue in the root of the dicotyledonous and the monocotyledonous. Okay, yeah, so for the differences. Yeah, so this is for the arrangement. So you can to write that here. Compulsory for the dicotyledonous, the stem are arranged in the ring form. So you can to write out vascular bundle arranged in the ring form. But for the monocotyledons, for this vascular bundle are scattered. Yes, very good. Scattered throughout the stem. Yeah, so this is a keyword. So you all can put it out here. Vascular bundle scattered throughout the stem. Yeah, like this. Next, for the root. Yeah, so for this one, the xylem from the center in the form of a star, and phloem fills the area between the xylem tissue. And then for the monocotyledon is alternate, okay, and is arranged in the ring form. So the xylem tissue alternate with phloem tissue in the form of a ring. Yeah, like this. Done already, let me know. So now we settle already for the plant tissue. Then later we go to the question 2. Okay, good. Okay, can. Question 2. The diagram below show the location of a tissue in the plant. Label the type of the tissue for the A, B, C, D, and E. Yeah, so this one is the type of the tissue. So you don't need to write for the specific name. Okay, just write the type of tissue, then can already. So for example, like the tissue A. Tissue A is special label for these two parts. And so for the first one, yes, very good. This one compulsory for the shoot tip. And then at the bottom, this one is for the root tip. So the shoot tip and the root tip, this one we name it as a meristematic tissue. Okay, so this is for the tissue A. Or you want to like specific apical meristematic tissue also can. Okay. Next, for the tissue B. The tissue B is labeled for this whole thing. That's mean for the leaf, stem, and the root. And so for this one is a permanent tissue. Because inside they have all the specific specialized cell. Okay, they have a specific function. So this is for the permanent tissue, like the xylem, phloem, gut cell, all the thing also adhere. Okay. And then for the tissue C, C is for the external layer, okay, the outermost layer. So this one we name it as a epidermal tissue. Epidermal. And then for the D, D is for the xylem and the phloem. So this is for the vascular tissue. And then for the E is the ground tissue, like the cortex that can support the plant. Okay. Next, diagram below show the position of the permanent tissue in cross-section of a plant stem. What is mean by the permanent tissue? Yeah, permanent got two characteristics. First, mature tissue. Second, undergone the cell differentiation. So you can write down. Permanent tissue are mature tissue that experience cell differentiation. Yeah, like this. Name the tissue, label P and the Q. Yeah, so tissue, so for the P, you can label epidermal tissue. And then for the Q is the ground tissue. Okay. State two characteristic of the tissue P. Yeah, two characteristics. So this one is for the stem. So for the epidermal tissue of the stem, what characteristic? Yes, very good. You can write about the cuticle, the waxy layer, the waterproof one. So you can write now, have a waxy and waterproof layer called cuticle. Yeah, ladies. Okay. Next, based on your answer, explain how it is adapted for the tissue P to carry out its function. Yeah, so for the cuticle function, so you can have to write out cuticle reduce water loss during transpiration and protect the leaf from mechanical injuries and pathogen. Yeah, like this lah. Done already, let me know. Okay, can. Next, what is the function of root cap? Yeah, so for the root cap, you all can have to write down. This one is how to protect the root tip from mechanical injury. Yeah, so for this. Next, state an example of the cell modified found in the tissue P. Yeah, so for the example of the cell modified, yeah, so this one is for the specialized cell. So you can write down either one, like the gut cell. So you just write any one example of the epidermal cell, then can already. Okay. Next, name the structure in the tissue Q that consists of a living cell. Yeah, so for the structure, tissue Q, that means for the ground tissue. So ground tissue that consists of a living cell, parenchyma, and collenchyma tissues. Okay. Yeah. Next. If you're done already, you help me open for your notes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now we can learn for the next one. So you can also see it here. This one is for the process of the plant. Okay. So for the process, first, just now I say already, we have a primary growth and also for the secondary growth, right? Okay. So now we learn about the primary growth. Primary growth for this. Primary growth, it will occur inside the apical meristematic tissue. So where can you find the apical meristematic tissue? Inside the shoot tip and root tip. So now for this process, it will occur at the shoot tip and root tip. So you can to see it here. What is the function for the primary growth? It will increase the length of the plant. And so this one is for increase the length. So you can to see for the three growth zone. Zone of cell division, zone of cell elongation, and the zone of cell differentiation. So for the cell division, the most important thing, okay, you need to know how to explain the process at here. So I label the mark for you, okay? So you all can to write down if come out in your exam question. So you can help me write down for this point. So for the first one, meristematic cell, they will divide by the mitosis so that they can increase the number of cells. So this one is for the cell division. Mitosis process will occur. So this one is for the first point. Okay. And then for the second point, you need to explain about the characteristic. Yeah, so at here is for the characteristic of the cell. So example, the first one, large nuclei. Or maybe you can write like the no vacuoles, dense cytoplasm, and the thin cell wall. Because at here they will undergo for the cell division. So for the thin cell wall, it's easier for the process to occur, okay, for this one. So this is a characteristic. Yeah, that's all. So this is the first zone for the cell division. After you've done the first zone, and then you will go to the second zone, which is the cell elongation. Elongation, that means you will increase the size, you will increase the length of the cell. Why you can increase the length? Because all the small vacuole that will combine together, and then it will become the large vacuole. So the vacuole, it will produce a pressure to against the cell wall. Then it will widen, it will elongate the cell. So this one is for the cell elongation. So the point inside, for the first one, water will diffuse into the vacuole by osmosis. So this is the first point. After that, all the small vacuole that will fuse together to form the large vacuole. Okay, or you want to write for the vacuolation also can. That means it's a specific term for this process. So you choose either one and it can already. If in your answer you write the vacuolation occur, then you no need to explain about the small vacuole fused together lah. Okay, you write either one enough. Okay, and then after that, diffused water will produce a pressure against the cell wall, so it will push, elongate, and widen the cell. Yeah, so this is the last point. So for the function of the cell elongation, increase the size and the mass of the cell. Okay, like this. And then for the last one, zone of cell differentiation. So in differentiation, that means you have a specific structure, you have a specific function. So normally for this point, we will explain like this. After the cell have reached their maximum size, so the cell will change their shape and the structure to become the specialized cell with the specific function. So this is the first point, second point. And normally for the last point, we give the example. So you can help me to write down like 1 or 2 example enough already. So either you want to write for the xylem also can, phloem also can. Okay, yeah, for this one. So this is the first part, first process for the primary growth. The 3 growth zone at here. Okay, after that, we'll go to the secondary growth. We go to the secondary growth first. Okay, you have to see it here, the process. Secondary growth compulsory occur in the lateral meristem. Yeah, so this one is for the lateral meristem. And lateral meristem, you can found in the shoot tip and root tip. Shoot tip and root tip. Vascular cambium and the root cord cambium. Vascular cambium and the cord cambium. Okay. Yeah, so what is the function for the lateral meristem? It will increase the diameter, it will increase the thickness of the plant. So this is for the secondary growth. Okay. So now we see the diagram first. Normally for the secondary growth, it will ask you to label the primary xylem, the secondary xylem. So you must know the position of the primary and the secondary. But actually it's very easy because it's the vascular cambium that will produce the new cell. The vascular cambium, they will undergo the mitosis. So you can see it's a cambium ring that will undergo the mitosis. That means it starts from the cambium ring, they will produce a lot of the new cell. So for the new cell, we name it as a secondary tissue. Because how can you identify for the new cell or the old cell? We will put the specific term. So for the new cell, we name it as a secondary. But for the old cell, we name it as a primary. So that's why you have a 4 layer at here. Primary, xylem, secondary xylem. Okay, so for all the new cells that are produced by the cambium ring, that means all the new cells are very near to the cambium ring one. So that's why you can see it here. Here you can see for the 4 color, the 4 layers, right? Okay, if for the dark color, this one is for the primary. Primary compulsory far away from the cambium ring. But you see for the secondary, secondary is very near to the cambium ring. They're just beside the cambium ring. Yeah, so this one is for secondary because it's a cambium ring produce the secondary tissue. Okay, for the xylem also the same. You can see for the secondary xylem is very near to the cambium ring, but the primary xylem is very far. Okay, the distance is longer compared to the secondary one. Okay, yeah, so actually for labeling is very easy lah. Okay, for this one. So you come to see the point at here for the first one. Vascular cambium divide actively through the mitosis. So this is the first point. So the cell that divide inward will form the secondary xylem. Divide outward will form the secondary phloem. This one we learned already before. Inside the stem, now what is the arrangement for the xylem and the phloem? Inside the stem, the phloem compulsory stand outside because for the phloem is P. P is protect. Yeah, so for this one is outside. That's mean for the xylem is inside. Yeah, so actually are the same thing. Okay. So now for all the cell, the cambium ring, they produce inward, and this one is for the xylem. They produce outward, and this one is for the phloem. Okay, can? And all the primary xylem and the primary phloem, they will push. Okay, they will push away from the cambium ring. So for the xylem, they're very near to the pith. But for the phloem, they were near to the epidermis. They all will push away from the cambium ring. Okay? And when you form a lot of the secondary xylem layer, then it will cause your epidermis of the stem stretch and crack. Because for all the tissue, they become bigger and bigger already, ma. And also you form a lot of the layer. So inside the plant, inside the stem, is like become thicker. So that's why for the epidermis, it will stretch and crack. Okay, for this one. Like this. So that's why you can see for the final image. So all the external layer, epidermis, crack already. Because inside is like become bigger. Okay, yeah, for this one. And also, for the cork cambium also will undergo for the mitosis. So it will produce a lot of the new cell. They will form the outer cork cell and also for the inner cortex. So for the external cork layer, they will form a protective layer. So it can protect the stem. Okay, yeah, like this. So this is a function for the secondary growth. So you all can have to label the point at here. Secondary xylem, secondary phloem, and then you will push away from the cambium ring. And also you can write out for their function, why you need to form the secondary xylem and the secondary phloem. Okay? Yeah, like this. So this is all the point. So for the secondary growth, they will really like to come out in the essay because you can explain about the process. Okay, normally they will come out a lot about the stem one. Actually, for the stem and the root also have a secondary growth, but the most important is for the stem. So you can to see for the stem one. Okay, secondary growth got a lot of the answer they can ask. First, they will ask you to explain about the process. So this is for the process. Okay, then second, they will ask you about the important. Yeah, so what is the important for the secondary growth and the primary growth? Example, I repeat many times already. Primary growth, it allows the plant to reach the maximum height so that you can absorb the maximum amount of sunlight. So you can undergo for the photosynthesis. So this is the first adaptation. Okay, second also, it can increase the height, it also can increase the length. So it can lengthen the root so that the root can absorb more water and the mineral salt. So this is a second adaptation. Okay, but for the secondary growth, it can increase the diameter. So when you increase the diameter of the stem, so you can provide the mechanical support. And also you can write for other function. Example, it can produce a thick and strong bark. Or why you need to produce the secondary xylem and the secondary phloem. And so maybe you can increase the demand of the water, you can increase the demand of the organic substance. Yeah, or also can. Yeah, so actually got a lot of the importance one. But important, the most maximum you can know like at least 2 point. 2 point enough already. 2 point for primary, 2 point for secondary. Okay, and also got another type of the importance is for the economic importance. Sometimes in the exam, they will let you know like the plant after the secondary growth have high commercial value. Explain why. Yeah, so this one you can to write out economic importance because after the secondary growth, the plant they bigger and stronger and thicker, so it can make other product. Example, they can produce a high quality furniture, door, and also for the presence of the annual ring. I believe that you all still know annual ring. You can calculate the tree, the age of tree. Okay, for this one. So for this pattern, it will make the furniture look attractive. Okay, yeah, like this. And also for the wood and bark, yeah, it can make the useful oil. And also for the fruit tree, they can produce a lot of the fruit. So either you can use as a local consumption or maybe you want to export out also can. So you can generate income for the country. Yeah, so this is for the commercial value. Okay, the advantage. Yeah, like this. So this one is for the secondary growth one. Okay, so they will ask about the process. They will ask about the importance, the normal important, or maybe for the economic important also can. And then for the last one, they will ask about the differences. Differences between the primary growth and the secondary growth. Okay, so for this one, at least you need to help me know like 6 differences. Minimum 6 differences between the primary and the secondary. And also you need to know for the similarity. Because sometimes they will ask you right now for the compare and contrast. So you need to know for the similarity. Later we try for the exercise. Okay, so now you come to highlight first. Primary growth normally is occur after the germination. Okay, then they will straight like increase the length. They want to undergo a lot of the photosynthesis. But for the secondary growth is after the primary growth. So that's why we say secondary. Okay, and also for the purpose, the function, this one increase the length, this one increase the diameter. Okay, and for the primary growth, they occur at the apical meristem, which is a shoot tip and root tip. But for the secondary growth, they occur at the lateral meristem, which is the vesicular cambium and the cord cambium. Okay, and also the type of plant. Primary compulsory for all type of plant one, because all the plant also will increase the height. All the plant also want to absorb sunlight for the photosynthesis. But for the secondary growth, normally they happen to the perennial plant. What is the meaning for perennial? Yeah, later we will learn that for the three type of the plant. Okay. Normally for the perennial plant, there are the eudichord, that means for the woody plant. So that's why you can see most of the woody plant that are very thick, they have a large diameter. Only a small number of the monocot they will undergo for the secondary growth. Okay, but mainly is for the eudichord lah. Okay, for this, and also for the growth is limited, growth is unlimited. So that's why most of the plant that undergo primary growth, they only have like 1 year lifespan or maybe like one growing season. It's a very short. But for the secondary growth, this one you can live for many years, like around 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 also can. Okay, yeah, for this one. And also for last one, the growth pattern is a normal sigmoid curve. What is the meaning for the normal sigmoid curve? You can see for the growth curve, the graph is just like human, 1S. And this one is a normal sigmoid curve. But for the annual series sigmoid curve, what is the meaning for the annual series? Annual series, that means like a lot, many. You can see for the graph is like this. Up and down, up and down, up and down, just like the roller coaster. Yeah, for this one. So this is for the growth process. Okay, so for the second part, we done already. Okay, for this one. For this page, for this part are the most important. You want to do a lot of the exercise. You need to know like how to explain in the exam, especially for the process. Okay, so now we try for the exercise. So for the notes, I will run through like quite fast a bit because the most important thing today, we need to try a lot different type of the question that you can have to complete. Okay, so you can see the answer inside. So now you all can open this page. Yeah, this one is for the primary growth. Okay. Normally, primary growth does not come out in the essay one because for this one, the explanation is like quite easy. Except for the three growth zone, maybe they will like combine together, ask you to explain the three growth zone. And this one maybe you can get like 9 to 10 marks. Okay, it's like explain one and one growth zone all. Okay, for this one. Directly below show the zone of the cell growth at the shoot tip. So for the shoot tip, compulsory is a primary growth. So name the type of the meristematic tissue. So this one compulsory is a, yes, very good, apical. Apical meristematic tissue. Okay, and then for the next one, what is the type of growth shown above? Yeah, so the type of growth, primary growth. So define the type of growth mentioned in 2B. Yeah, the type of growth mentioned. Okay, so define. So you need to give a definition. So you can write out primary growth is the growth that occurs after germination. It takes place in all plants to elongate their stem and root. Yeah, so you write down for the characteristic and the function for the primary growth. Describe the role of cell in the zone P. Yeah, so the role of cell, that's mean for the function. So what is the function for the zone P? Zone P, that's mean for the cell division. So this one is for the apical meristematic tissue, the apical meristematic cell. So you can to write down meristematic cell are actively dividing through mitosis to increase the number of cell. Yeah, like this. Vacuolation is a process that occurs in the zone Q. What is mean by the vacuolation? Vacuolation is for the second zone. So the second zone is the zone of cell elongation. So you come to label it here. The zone Q is the zone of cell elongation. And the zone P is the zone of cell division. Okay. So what is the meaning for the vacuolation? Vacuolation, that means that all the small vacuole that fuse together to form the large vacuole. Yeah, like this. Okay. Done already, let me know. Then we go to the next one. Okay, can. Okay, good. Yeah, so for next, draw the difference of the vacuole condition inside the cell at the zone P and the zone Q. Sorry, I have a correction at here. You want me to write down for the zone Q. Yeah, P and Q. Yeah, so compulsory for the P is a cell division. Cell division is like you can consider as a no vacuole or the vacuole is a very, very small. But for the zone Q compulsory, all the vacuole that increase in size already, expand already. Okay, so you can have to draw at here. So for this one, you can draw the big nucleus, the large nucleus, and also for the small vacuole, maybe just like the small vacuole at here, and all the cytoplasm. Because for the cell in the zone P, they have a dense cytoplasm. Yeah, so you just help me to dot 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 dot. Yeah, like this. Okay. But for the zone Q one, you need to draw for the large vacuole, the small nucleus, and also a little bit for the cytoplasm. Yeah, like this. Okay. Next, what is the importance of the vacuolation during growth? Yeah, so for the important, that will increase the size. Okay. So the large vacuoles. Yeah, like this. Next, state the shape and the structure of the cell in the zone R. Yeah, so you can have to label it here. For the zone R is the zone of cell specialization, the cell differentiation. Okay. So the shape and the characteristic all are specific. So they can carry out for the specific function. Yeah, like this. Done already, let me know. Then we go to the next one. So this is for the primary, okay? Later we do one question is about the secondary. Okay, good. Yeah, so for the next one, you can help me open to the page 15 for the page 15. Yeah, for this. Question 9. The diagram below show the secondary growth that occur in the root of a plant. Yeah, so the secondary growth. Name the tissue P, Q, R, S, T, and U. So for the tissue P, so you can have to see it here. For the P is I fill up the area between the xylem. So the P is the phloem. And then for the Q is xylem. So what is the RSTU? You can to see for the R. So for the R is very near to the cambium ring. Okay, it's very near to the vascular cambium. Okay, so this one is for the secondary phloem. So you can to write down for the secondary phloem. And also for the S is for the secondary xylem. And then for the T is the primary xylem. Then for the U is the primary phloem. Yeah, like this. Okay. Next, is the secondary growth at the root similar to the one that happened at the stem of a eudicot plant? Explain about the secondary growth at the root based on the diagram above. Yeah, so you want to explain the secondary growth inside the root, so you can write it here. Actually, for these two processes are similar. Both also will occur for the mitosis, both also will increase for the secondary tissue, okay? So you can write that here. Secondary growth in the root is similar to the and cox cell to protect the root tissue. Yeah, like this. Okay, done already. Let me know. So this one is for the root part. Okay, can. Yeah, so for next one, you come to see. In the box on the diagram above, draw and label the last stage of the secondary growth at the root. Yeah, so for this one, drawing. But actually for this drawing, it's like quite seldom they will ask in exam because for this draw, it's like quite complicated, okay? But you can help me to draw also. Okay, so you help me to draw like two circles first. Wait. And then at the middle, you will form the star shape. Yeah, that's all at this line. And also you can draw for the cork cambium, crack cork cambium. Yeah, like this. Okay, so you can help me to label it here. So for this one is for the cork, for the primary phloem. I write the P lah, P is for the phloem lah, okay? And also for the secondary phloem. And also for the primary xylem. And the secondary xylem. Yeah, like this. Done already, let me know. Okay, can. If you're done already, help me open to the page 18. 1-8. Okay, next. Yeah, for this. Diagram below show the cross section of an ill dicot root. So explain the function of the structure X and Y. This one you all can have to do at home. Okay, this as homework for the X and Y. X is a phloem, and then for the Y is a xylem. Yeah, so this one you compulsory know the function already. Okay, we focus at the growth process. So you can see for the question 2, structure Z separate the structure X and the Y during the secondary growth. Explain the process that take place in the structure Z which enable the root to increase in size. Yeah, so for the Z is for the vascular cambium. So you can write down what is the process that occur inside the vascular cambium and what is the explanation. So for the structure Z is the vascular cambium. Vascular cambium cell divide actively by mitosis to form complete ring called cambium ring. Divide inwards form the secondary xylem. and divide outward from the secondary phloem. Yeah, so for this one is 1 point, second, third, and the last point. Yeah, so you can get 4 marks at here. Okay, and then for the next one, predict what will happen to the plant if the structure Z is not formed. Yeah, if it does not form the vascular cambium, then compulsory you cannot undergo for the mitosis, so you cannot produce a secondary tissue. Okay, so you can write down. That means for the plant also cannot increase the diameter, it cannot increase the thickness. So structure Z. Yeah, like this. Okay, yeah, the 4 point at here. And later we do for the last question about the secondary growth and the primary, and we'll learn for the last part, which is the growth curve, the tree growth curve of the plant. Done already, let me know. Okay. Yeah, so for the next, compare and contrast the primary growth and the secondary growth in the root of the eudicot plant. Yeah, so compare and contrast. So you can write out for the similarity. Example, both also can increase the size. Yeah, just one is for the length, one is for the diameter. Okay, both also will involve for the mitosis. Both growth increase. Sorry, involve mitosis. Okay, next for the differences. So you can write out for the first one. Primary compulsory occur in the apical. And this one occur at the lateral meristematic tissues. Have both primary and the secondary xylem. And this one also have both primary and secondary phloem. Okay, yeah, that's all. Like this. So you all come to see. So these are differences between the primary growth and the secondary growth. Okay. So later we'll learn about the tree growth curve. Yeah, so after the growth curve, then today our revision is like done already lah. So if you all got any part that you don't understand, you can WhatsApp me and let me know, okay? Yeah, either you want to WhatsApp me to my phone number or you all want Insta PM me also can. This is my Insta ID. Hihihi. Okay, so you can choose either one. Done already, let me know. But actually for the last three growth curve, it's quite easy. You just help me to know for their differences and it can already, because normally for the last three growth curve does not have so many process. You just help me know for the differences, okay? Like why the growth curve will have the decreases and the increases and then enough already. But actually it's quite similar with human one. For human, our growth curve also is like decrease and increase one. Okay? Yeah, like this. Okay, good. For others, done already? Done. Okay. Okay, so now you come to see it here. Okay, so for the last one, just now for the annual ring. Okay, annual ring also need to know about the formation, but normally for this one, it's just like 2 mark to 4 mark like that. Okay, so actually for this one, it's like quite easy. You just need to know like how to explain about the formation for the dark color and also for the lighter color, okay, for the circle. So the first one, spring, yeah, so for the suitable season, they have enough water and also for the sunlight, so you have a high photosynthesis rate, then you can produce the large and the thin wall xylem vessel. So this one you will provide for the lighter color. But if for the summer, yeah, this one is like the growth is unsuitable. So this one is for the narrow xylem. So it's like darker in color. So for the ring pattern, they will alternate. So you have a light and dark, light, dark, light, dark. So one light and one dark is for 1 year. Okay, one growing season. Yeah, for this. So this is the formation of the annual ring. So this one is very easy lah. Okay. So now you come to see for the last page, the tree growth curve. So we have an annual plant, biennial plant, and the perennial plant. So for the annual, it's very easy. Annual is start from the A, right? So annual A is the first alphabet that we learn. Yeah, so this one is equal to 1. So this one is I only have 1 year, 1 growing season, and also you can see for the growth curve is at 1S. Yeah, so this one is at 1 sigmoid curve. Okay, but you can see for the biennial one. For the biennial, this one is for the B, right? B, that means the second alphabet. So this one is for the 2. So this one you can see for the 2 growing season, 2 years. So this one have a 2 sigmoid curve. So actually it's very easy to remember all the thing inside. Okay, and also for the last one, perennial plant. Perennial plant is for the P. P, that means a lot of the alphabet, right? Okay, it's very back already. Okay, so for the P is like a lot. So that's why you can see a lot of the S at here. So for this one is I live more than 2 years. Okay, more sigmoid curve, and also this one I have a series of the small sigmoid curve. Yeah, so this is for the perennial plant. Okay, so it's very easy. Like you just use the first alphabet to remember their growth curve and you can already. Okay, so the most important one is for the annual plant, because annual plant normally in the diagram they will ask you, okay, in the exam question, it will show you the graph and then it will ask you if the dry mass decrease, why the dry mass will decrease, and also it will ask you to state the differences between the A and the B. So it's very obvious that you can see for the A the dry mass decrease already, but for the B the dry mass will increase. So why will show these two different? Because for the A, the seed during germination. During germination, that means for the seed that does not have leaf, they cannot undergo for the photosynthesis, they cannot produce food. Then how the seed they can obtain the energy? Where does the energy come from? Come from the food stored in the cotyledon. So all the food that's stored in the cotyledon are used up so that they can produce a lot of the energy for growth. So when you reduce the amount of food inside, then compulsory you would reduce the dry mass. Okay, so this is for the stage A. Yeah, so this is the most important one you want to know. Okay, but after that, why you go to the stage B and then you are increasing the dry mass? Because now the plant have leaf already, so they can carry out for the photosynthesis. They can produce a large amount of the glucose. So that's why for the dry mass will increase. Okay, yeah, like this. But at the end, why when you go to the stage D and then the dry mass will reduce again? Yeah, same also for human. Human, when we go to the old age, we go to like the old people stage, then compulsory our body height and the body mass also will reduce due to aging process. So for the plant, they will reduce like all the living process also. Yeah, so that's why for the dry mass will decrease. Okay, so for the annual plant is very important because you need to know how to explain about the graph pattern. Okay, and also for some example inside, like the paddy plant, pumpkin, watermelon, you help me choose two example and you can already. Okay, so this one is for the annual plant. Now we go to the biennial. Biennial is for the B. B is for 2, so it's like 2 year and 2 growing season. Okay, so we come to explain for the first season. First season is how to grow like all the root, leaf, and the stem, all the basic structure of the plant. Okay, so this one is for the first season. So at here, you will have a high rate of the photosynthesis so that you can produce a large amount of the food. It can store inside the tuber. You say, teacher, why they want to produce so many food? So it can prepare for the second stage. For the second season, is for the reproduction. Reproduction need a lot of the energy. Okay, so when you go to the second stage for the reproduction, so that's why they will produce a lot of the flower, a lot of the seed, a lot of the fruit. And then only for the plant they can reproduce. Okay, so for this one, the example like carrot, onion. Yeah, so you help me choose two lah. And then for the last one, perennial. Perennial, this one is like very seldom they will ask because this one is very easy. They just like flower and bear fruit many times throughout their life. Because for this one, they can live more than 2 years. This means like 20 years, 30 years, 50 years also can. Okay, older is very expensive. Okay, like for the tree, like it's very valuable. Okay, for this one. But this one you can slightly help me to know. It's a different season that have a different growing rate. Example like the spring and summer that provide the best growing condition. Yeah, so this one for their growth rate is very fast. But during winter, then their growth will slow down and stop because for the temperature and also for the light density is not suitable. Yeah, like this and it can already. So perennial is a very seldom asked. Normally in the exam, they just ask about the annual and the biennial. Okay, yeah, so for these two, you can to know. Yeah, that's all. So until here, our chapter 1 is done already. So I do a small conclusion for the chapter 1. You all have to see it here. Okay, this one is easier for you all to do revision. So for the first thing, you all must know the two type of the tissue. So we learned two tissue just now. One is for the meristematic tissue, another one is for the permanent tissue. So you can help me to know like all the name, function, diagram, and the characteristic of all the tissue inside. Okay, so this is the first thing. Okay, when we go to the second part is for the process. So at here, we got two process that we will learn. One for the primary growth, another one for the secondary growth. Okay, yeah, so for the primary and the secondary, okay, you can explain about the process inside of primary is for the tree growth zone. Zone of cell division, zone of cell elongation, zone of cell differentiation. Okay, and then for the secondary growth, this one is occur inside the stem. Okay, and also you can help me to know their differences. What is the difference between the primary and the secondary? Okay, when we go to the next one, this one is for the three type of the growth curve. And I show you all one thing. This one as a small gift to you all. Okay, you can see this is the essay topic, okay, that I do the analysis for the Form 5 Chapter 1, okay, the organization of the plant tissue and the growth. This one is for the Chapter 1 and also for the Chapter 2, okay? Because got some school, they also have their midterm, first term exam also until the Chapter 2 or Chapter 3, okay? Yeah, so this one as a reference to you all. But maybe for your first term exam, you does not use this because first term you does not have a exam, essay, does not have an essay exam. But when you go to the midterm and then you will use this one, okay? So you can see here is like all the example of the topic that will come out in the, this one I put like Form 4 and Form 5 together. So this one is the Form 4, okay? But the last page is for the Form 5. So that's why I special highlight for the Form 5 at here, man. Okay, yeah, like this. So you can to see. So this is a chapter 1. So you can see the process occur in the root tip and the shoot tip. That's we need to explain for the tree growth zone. Yeah, so the maximum point is at 10 mark. Okay, I choose for the maximum one. This one I all refer from the trial and also for the past year. I choose for the maximum now. Okay, the maximum mark, so that you all can prepare for your exam. And normally for the secondary growth, okay, they will ask about the differences between the primary and the secondary. And also it will ask like the plant have a high commercial value. Explain why. 6 mark. So at least you need to know 6 point, okay, about the commercial value one. Okay, the economic importance. Okay, and describe the primary growth and the secondary growth. 10 point. And also, actually for these two questions are similar. Describe the changes in the stem or the root that result in the formation of the secondary tissue. But I got some students, when they change the question, then they will think like it's another answer. But actually they are the same thing. Okay, you explain about the primary growth and the secondary growth actually is for this one. Changes in the stem and the root. Okay, actually they are the same thing one. Okay, so this is for the chapter 1 for all the essay topic. But when you go to the chapter 2, chapter 2 is talk about the leaf structure and the function, the photosynthesis, the transpiration, that one. So for this chapter, actually, it's like quite long because got two important process, which is a photosynthesis and transpiration. Okay, so maybe you can take a photo for this and then you can help me to do revision at home. Yeah, so this is for the essay one, special for essay. Okay, yeah, like this. That's all for our chapter 1. Okay, so now you all can help me open for the question. Okay, we try some question relate to the type of plant. Question 13, you come to see it here. Direct below show a growth curve of a germinating seed of a plant. The growth rate is different stage J and K. Explain the difference. Yeah, so you all can to explain for the difference. Example for the first one, in stage J, dry mass decreases. This is because store food in the seed used to provide energy. In the stage K, dry mass increases because you have a leaf, you can undergo for the photosynthesis already, okay? So the young plants have green leaf which can carry out photosynthesis. Yeah, like this. Next, Identify the type of plant and state an example of a plant that has the growth curve. Yeah, so the type of plant. This one only have one sigmoid curve, so compulsory is an annual plant. So for the example, paddy plant. Okay, predict what happened to the plant after the stage K. Give reason for your answer. Yeah, so after the stage K already, then compulsory for the dry mass will decrease. Yeah, because they will go to the another stage for the aging process. So dry mass decreases due to aging, or you want to write the lower rate of photosynthesis also can. Yeah. Done already, let me know. Go to the next one. Okay, yeah, for the next. Diagram below show a formation of an annual growth ring in a plant stem. How do we determine the age of a plant? Yeah, measuring for the number. Okay, count, you got like how many die and how many light. Okay, like one die and one light is for 1 year. Okay, so measure the number of annual growth ring. Yeah, like this. Explain the formation of the annual growth ring. Yeah, this one have 4 points. Yeah, so the answer is quite long. So you need to help me explain about the lighter color and the darker color one. Okay, so the formation of annual growth ring is caused by secondary growth that happens at different rate according to season. Okay, yeah, ladies. Explain the importance of plant that have the annual growth ring economically. Yeah, so this one that's mean you can make the furniture look attractive. Okay, it's special that can make as a decorative item. Okay, so you can to write down the presence of annual growth ring in plants makes furniture looks attractive. Yeah, like this. Done already, can let me know. Okay, can. Good. Yeah. So this is the most important thing that we redo. We do revision for today's seminar, okay, for today's class, okay. So the most important is for the chapter one. So you all can help to do more revision at home, and you can help me complete the remaining question, and all the answer will post in the online. Like when you all click to the seminar link, right? Okay, above you can see for the PDF note, is it? So when you click into the PDF note, and you can see for the answer, that one is for the answer version one, okay. And then you can find the answer inside, okay, for all the remaining question. So good luck for your exam, and after your exam done already, I hope that you all can feedback to me how your exam is, you understand or not, you can do or not, and also for your marks, okay, when your result is come out already, you also can let me know, okay. Thank you very much for your attendance today. That's all for our revision. So if you got any part that you don't understand, you can WhatsApp me, okay. Bye bye, see you all next time. Bye.